Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to the NFC East Roundtable, powered by BetUS, where the game begins. Receive a 125% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 via the link in the description below. Tonight in the NFC East Roundtable, we will be ranking the NFC East quarterbacks. It might seem obvious to some, but we're going to leave that up to our panel as to how they ranked from 1 through 4, the quarterbacks in the NFC East. And as always, I'll welcome them in from bottom to top, starting with my main man, Rio. What's popping, Rio?
What's going on, big dog? I'm ready to talk all things NFC East, and I'm ready to finally talk quarterbacks with the rest of the division because I think we finally got us one here.
Rio's ready. KB, are you ready? I know this might not be your favorite topic in this division, but are you ready to rock tonight?
I'm here so I don't get fined. Let's talk quarterbacks. Come on.
I love it. And then the two you got to think are feeling pretty confident. Here comes Philly Mike. How you doing, Philly Mike?
Hey, we trying to keep the main thing.
Love it. And then there's Jay Tuck coming off a season with a quarterback finishing, I believe, second or so in the MVP.
Second, I mean, technically he really won. I mean, he really won if we want to be honest about it. So it's always fun to talk about quarterbacks when you have the quarterback in the NFL. So let's go ahead and get to it, fellas.
Let's go ahead and get right into it. And Jay Tuck, we're going to start with you. And I have a feeling I know where you're going to go with this. But hey, I got a feeling a lot of people might go the same way that you're going. And here's your rankings for the upcoming 2024 season. Here's how you had your quarterbacks ranked. I'll give the floor to you. Talk me through how you got to Dak at 1 and all the way down to 4 with Daniel Jones.
Yeah, when it comes to Dak Prescott, I feel like he's done it on a consistent basis since the moment he was drafted in 2016. Coming in as a 4th round pick, he's always been on an uptrend. I know a lot of people want to talk about his 2022 season with the interception, and that was just a blip on the radar, but he still played impressive. So I think when it comes to consistency and doing it at a high level, it's Dak Prescott. I mean, does he have the athletic ability as some of the other quarterbacks? Possibly not. But when you're looking at a pure quarterback that can be pre-snap, post-snap, can make any throw, is coming to Dak Prescott. So Dak Prescott's my number 1. Number 2, Jalen Hurts. I feel like Jalen Hurts, even though he's an Eagle, he has these ugly, hideous colors on, phenomenal talent. And I feel like when it comes to Jalen Hurts, I think what's really going to help him if he's able to mold him is Kellen Moore, because Kellen Moore is a quarterback whisperer. He did wonders for Dak Prescott. Him and Dak Prescott were in sync. So if Jalen Hurts is able to buy in to what Kellen's trying to teach him, I think he can really excel this season as well and continue his trend that he had. He almost had an MVP season if he didn't get hurt either when they went to the Super Bowl. Number 3 and 4 was kind of tricky, right? Because Daniel Jones, more of a proven guy, has won games in the playoffs. But I feel like Jaden Daniels is scary. I mean, me personally, I didn't want Washington to get him. I was kind of hoping they would get Drake May. I was watching some of Rio's videos, like, okay, can they fumble this draft pick for me, please? And then Dan Quinn said, nope, Tuck, that's not going to happen. So unfortunately, I feel like Jaden Daniel has the biggest upside. And I feel like with this weaponry that they added around him offensively, I feel like Jaden Daniel's going to be a huge problem, not only this season, but just for the future to come, the NFC East. Yes, so I got Daniels at 3, and then 4. Daniel, a cool guy, you know what I'm saying? But I seen Tommy DeVito come in and really push for your spot. So is it really you? So I don't know. So
he was hurt. He was hurt.
So when it comes to Daniel Jones, I mean, he has some athleticism. He can make some throws, but he just scares nobody. And so that's why I have Daniel Jones at 4. So Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, and Daniel Jones is my top 4 in the NFC East.
Poor KB. Last episode, we were predicting who was going to win the East. Nearly the whole panel had the Giants in dead last. And now we're ranking the quarterbacks, and we're already off to a slow start for KB. Hopefully throughout the season, things get shuffled up a bit for KB's sake. But we'll go to Philly Mike. By the way, just to reemphasize here, Jay Tuck did have Dak at number 1, Jalen Hurts at number 2, and the rookie Jaden Daniels hasn't played a snap yet above Daniel Jones. Let's see what Philly Mike has with his quarterback being Jalen Hurts, and I think we have no shot here. Philly Mike, talk me through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got Jalen Hurts 1. I'm not gonna sit on this panel and cap. Dak Prescott had the better season last year, right? Like he was runner up to MVP. But just as Jay Tuck said, just a year ago, Jalen Hurts, runner up MVP, finished in the Super Bowl, and we were a play away, a flag away from Jalen Hurts getting the ball and doing what he did. And if you look at graded quarterbacks, he was the second best graded quarterback in all Super Bowl history, just came out with a loss. We're trying to fix that in 2024. That being said, I'm looking at it as it's a new year league what you did last year, I'm going to think about it. But I'm looking at what Dak lost and what Jalen gained, right? Kellen Moore. Now, Dak had one of his best seasons without Kellen Moore, but what I've seen from Jalen Hurts in training camp under Kellen Moore, they are already on the same page, and we're seeing Jalen Hurts sling the rock better than we ever did in training camp. And I look at Dak's offensive line. I look at everything going on. I think he's going to still put up numbers, but I don't think if he couldn't get the big game done when they kind of believed in him, it's going to be even harder for me to see him do that when they're like pushing him out already. That being said, Dak Prescott is a good quarterback. I got Jalen Hurts first just because his what have you done for me in 2024? We done with 2023, which Dak Prescott coulda, shoulda, woulda won MVP, but they're always gonna, find a way to get it to Lamar, or give it to Mahomes, or we got cheated too. And again, Jalen Hurts doesn't get credit for the rushing stats, but it's as a football player, it matters for sure. Dak Prescott number 2, just because of his consistency. Again, if he would have did like that Packer game sits in my head, right? No matter what I seen stat wise for Dak Prescott throughout the 2023 season, and the defense was bad. It wasn't on Dak for sure, but 2 picks in the first half doesn't help a poor defense. And it is what it is. But Dak Prescott is the second best quarterback in the NFC East, and he's still a top quarterback in this league going into 2024. I just believe from what Jalen showed me and what he's going to do under Kellen Moore, I just got him a little bit ahead. 3, Jaden Daniels. I agree with Tuck. I think there's still a little bit of it could all fall apart because it's still Washington. I like what they got around him though. If he starts to run too much early in his career, that can start definitely. You can start seeing ghosts out there because just because you got legs, the NFL can humble you real quick when it comes to just trying to escape the pocket. Trust me, Jalen Hurts went through some growing pains there. But the reason I put him over Daniel Jones with the question mark is because a question mark is better than a semicolon. I mean, I don't know what they call it. It's a semicolon or something crazy because if the dude had a pretty good record with Saquon Barkley, but we've seen his record without Saquon Barkley. The offensive line hasn't got much better. Malik Neighbors is a dog, but he keeps getting in fights. So who knows if he's suspended for a couple games throughout the season with his attitude. I'm just kidding. Hopefully he can stop hitting his teammates. It's always funny to see people fight with helmets, especially with the padded helmets. Like,
helmets covered by helmets.
Hey, that was a Detroit line. It wasn't his teammate. It was Kirby Joseph of the Detroit line.
Oh yeah. The only hands that landed were against Neighbors.
That's even worse though, because if you hit,
he did land a punch in the scrum.
True, but if he does that to an opposing teammate in a regular season game, well, now you're losing 3 games right there or something like that. So Daniel Jones again. At times, like if you just looked at Daniel Jones versus the Vikings in 2022, you would think there's something there. But then you watch multiple other games and you're like, I don't know. And he does have an uphill battle with his team, but he's still on that uphill battle. He hasn't got no and he lost his training wheels with Saquon. So it's going to be interesting to see, but it's really hard for me to put a rookie over a starter. But in this case, I must.
Jaden Daniels had 3 back-to-back. Before we get to allow KB to perhaps defend himself, and we'll allow Rio to do the same, let's head over to BetUS real quick, because we all know that in this league, the quarterback is ultimately what propels you forward. If you want to have a team with a viable chance to not only make the playoffs, potentially compete for a Super Bowl, in this case, win the division, you have got to have the quarterback to be able to do that. And if we head on over to BetUS right now, and we take a look at the odds to win this NFC East, it's going to pretty much match up exactly to where the fellas early on here have ranked out the quarterbacks. If you look at the top of the odds here to win the NFC East, it's no surprise. Philadelphia Eagles at the top to win it at -125. The Dallas Cowboys at +160. They just so happen to have the 2 best quarterbacks in the division. No matter what the case is, if you have the better quarterback, the odds of you having a better chance to win the division and so on are dramatically higher. And it's no secret as to why right now the Commanders, who, hey, both Tuck and Philly Mike thought have the 3rd best quarterback, they just so happen to have the 3rd best odds to win the division, even though it is +1,000. And then you have the Giants all the way at the bottom. God bless them.
400 points.
Winning $100, fellas, would win you $1,400 on these New York Giants to win the division. Now, if you're a Giants faithful like KB is, right, and you want to throw some coin on them or the rest of the division, link in the description below. 125% sign-up bonus up to $2,000. Real quick word from Mike Vick before we hear from KB and Rio.
Michael Vick here at BetUS.com. Get it all. Huge bonuses, great odds, a race book, live in-game betting, and a casino. BetUS, my online sports book and casino.
All right, KB. So unfortunately, we are 2 for 2 here as far as Daniel Jones being at the bottom. I have a feeling maybe you might avenge him here. Let's take a look at what you have for your list for the top 4 quarterbacks.
All right, so here we go. I am the Giants fan here, so I if nobody's gonna do it, I got to do it. God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. So here we go. Dak Prescott, I got at number 1. I think it's clear cut to me. Although especially Giants fans and even me as a Giants fan have given a lot of Dak Prescott hate over the course of years, but I do respect him as a quarterback. I think he's the most experienced, and year to year, does he have some bad years? Sure, but I would say his bad years are still pretty good compared to other quarterbacks as well. So I think Dak is the clear-cut number 1 in the division right now. But even though I feel like he is the clear-cut number 1, Jalen Hurts, I don't think is trailing too far behind him. I think Jalen Hurts, there has to be a little bit more experience there as far as feats go with Jalen Hurts. Even though he did make a Super Bowl, Dak Prescott did not. Okay, I will preface that. But Jalen Hurts did have a couple of years to grow and develop. There were some years where he just wasn't Jalen Hurts that we know now. So I just want to see a little bit more of that. And I feel like maybe Jalen Hurts can overtake Dak Prescott, to be honest with you. Now, when it comes to the Daniel Jones versus Jaden Daniels thing, I don't understand it. We got a guy that's never played a snap in the NFL, and he's already ahead.
Who did your team want to trade for this offseason, my good sir?
It was Drake May. It was Drake May. It was Drake May or bust. Drake May or bust. I'll tell you what. I loved Jaden Daniels. He was actually the quarterback I wanted in this upcoming draft. So no shame there. No shame there in me saying that at all. I did want Jaden Daniels in this draft. However, at this point right now, because this is what we're ranking right now, at this point right now, do I think Jaden Daniels has a higher ceiling? Absolutely. But right now, Daniel Jones, I feel like, is better, obviously more experience. And to be honest with you, and I say this with no bias in my heart whatsoever, I try to be as realistic as I can when it comes to this team. I feel like Daniel Jones, although he isn't, a top 10 quarterback, I really feel like the rest of the team does hinder him as a quarterback, and it doesn't allow him to show his abilities. He's great on the run. I think he has better accuracy than a lot of people give him credit for. I think he's a great thrower of the football. He's a very natural thrower of the football. You rarely see this guy throw a wobbler at you. I mean, he hits you with some good accuracy. He can push the ball downfield. At one point, I believe a couple of years ago, he was the most accurate quarterback downfield, according to, I think, PFF or something like that. He has a lot of abilities that I don't think are shown on this Giants team. I think this year we're going to see a Daniel Jones that is better than probably 2019, where he threw for 26 touchdowns, nearly broke the rookie record, and better than 2022 when he had a playoff run. I think this is the year where maybe not the Giants as a whole can put together a playoff run, but I think Daniel Jones, with the pieces around him, the sort of revamped offensive line, a lot better than we've seen in years past. We're going to see a Daniel Jones that has been hiding these past couple of years. I know he's had an issue with his turnovers over the past couple of years, but that hasn't been a problem for about 2 or 3 years now. So I think we're going to see the best Daniel Jones that we've seen in this year in 2024. And then Jaden Daniels, I'm putting an asterisk there because I don't feel like at the end of the day, he will be the worst quarterback that we see in the NFC East, but he is a rookie. I just can't put a rookie over anybody at this point. I mean, it doesn't matter who they are. I just can't do it yet. Besides, if they're like Caleb Williams, and I think he would still be at the bottom over there. Maybe not over like Sam Darnold and with the Vikings or anything like that. But I just have a thing, man. The rookie quarterbacks just can't go over experienced veterans in the league to me. But Jaden Daniels is on his way up. So those are my rankings, man.
All right, Rio, you have the newest quarterback. KB doesn't think he might be the best quarterback because he's a rookie, but Tuck had him at 3. Philly Mike had him at 3. Let's see where you have Jaden Daniels and the rest of the gang. And there it is. Talk us through it, Rio.
Okay, you know what? Let's go ahead and start at number 3. Let's get right to the Jaden Daniels.
Let's go.
Appreciate and enjoy the training wheels on our young rookie quarterback, because when he's no longer a pup, when he's full grown and he's ready to go, he's going to be at the top of this list. He's going to be at the top of this list. Dakota Prescott's going to be so far away from this division. It's going to be a Jaden Daniels versus Jalen Hurts division, and who knows what the Giants are going to be trotting out there at quarterback. I'll move down to number 4 real quick. Daniel Jones. The Giants moved around this offseason like a spouse giving a hall pass. They were flirting, chest out, and giggling with all the quarterback prospects. They looked their most happy on offseason Hard Knocks when them young quarterbacks was in the room. Brian Daboll like his dog died when they told him they're going to stick with Daniel Jones. It looked like he was being attached to something cancerous for the rest of his career in New York. He looked so sad on the inside that he had to bear with, okay, guys, I understand. Like, they didn't want to keep Daniel Jones. They're paying him $40 million this year, and they could not wait to entertain the quarterbacks of this class. They wanted to trade for my quarterback. They also wanted to trade for Drake May. They wanted anything that resembled a franchise quarterback, because the guy they're playing $40 million a year is not that. And if there's anyone who knows, it's the team that got him paid. It's Washington. Without his games versus us, this guy would not have got a long-term extension in this league. His games versus Washington and his playoff game is the only reason why he got that contract in New York. He is a pedestrian player versus the rest of the league. Versus us, he turns into white Michael Vick. Dak Prescott, at least weeks 1 through 18, is as consistent as it gets. There's elite in this league, and whatever the next tier of quarterbacks is, Dak sits at the forefront of that. He's not the elite, but he's right under whatever the top upper echelon of the league is in quarterback. He's consistent. Probably should have won the MVP last year. I'm not for giving 24 passing touchdowns an MVP trophy. No disrespect to Lamar Jackson. I don't think Lamar Jackson's numbers were MVP worthy last year. Dak should have got it. It was probably the only chance he'll ever see in his career at winning it. So you hate to see it, but you kind of love to see it from where I sit.
Of course. We love it.
Jalen Hurts, I have him as number 2, where it really could be a 1A, 1B type thing. I think he's a better football player than Dak, but I think Jalen, there's a level as a passer that he hasn't got to yet that I still think that they're going to tap into. I think Kellen Moore could tap into that. Jalen can take that next level. I don't see any reason why Jalen Hurts can't be a 4K.
Don't try to combine our quarterback.
Jalen Hurts.
I mean, hey, that's a hell of a combination right there. Jalen Hurts definitely gives me, he could be a 4K 30 touchdown passing guy a year. And I think we're going to see less of this tush push brotherly shove stuff, and we're going to see more of Jalen Hurts attacking you, an aerial assault there. And he has Saquon Barkley there, so I think he's going to rely less on his legs and more through his arm. They're the easy 1 and 2 quarterbacks in this division. Jaden Daniels, at minimum, is going to throw for 20 passing touchdowns as a rookie this year, and he's going to run for 3 to 5 rushing touchdowns, meaning, what is that, 25 touchdowns as a rookie? Daniel Jones hasn't thrown for 20 touchdowns since before COVID touched the world. We were pre-pandemic fans last time Daniel Jones saw a 20 touchdown season, and for that I put him as the last ranked quarterback in the division.
We do have the guy who helped make your quarterback a high tier prospect in Malik Neighbors. Okay, I will say that we do have Malik Neighbors, so
I can't wait to see Jones underthrown.
And I just want to say this for I love how Rio talked about and J Tuck mentioned Kellen Moore, or at least Jalen Hurts taking the next level as a passer and whatnot. But yeah, the turnovers were up, which they got to come down to. But last year, brotherly shove, rushing touchdowns, or what? 38. He's still kind of for 38 touchdowns in a so-called down year. And that's why I think the players, again, I wanted to bring up the whole players had Jalen Hurts 1 ranking over Dak Prescott. But then once I saw they put Pat Mahomes 4th, I said we got to throw this list away.
Throw the whole list away.
They need to abolish doing that yearly. I mean, it's got to be done. This past season was a travesty.
Yeah, it was
Players
bad.
must be stopped.
It was bad.
Well, fellas, appreciate it. There's everybody in the panel's top 4 quarterbacks. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to hit a like on the way out and make sure to hit that subscribe button. Jay Tuck, you got a little something?
Yeah, Dak's number 1, 3-1. Bang. Count it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot to give Jay Tuck his gloating grounds. He comes in with we've been crowding top of the East. He's got to take his gloat with Dak Prescott as well.
Yeah, typical Cowboys thing.
But
Yeah,
I do like how both the Giants and Commanders guys, you know, they put that 1A, 1B, but no, Dak won it. But like I said, I can't wait to relive this, you know, during the season because I think it's going to be a battle between Dak and Dak. It's going to be a Dak. And listen, if Dak is doing better, you'll hear me come out here and say, while the season's going, Dak is winning. But I can't wait to see after a couple of weeks where your whole question mark or asterisk solely because of a rookie changes, and I want to see how long.
KB, we'll see y'all week 2.
Rankings. Can we not do these rankings every week? Okay.
I'll see you week 2, KB. What's good with it, man?
That's why you got to hit the subscribe button right there. There's plenty of this in store. And if you like this, you're going to like everything Roundtable Sports has to offer. Here is a quick little video to show you exactly what we have in store for you this season on Roundtable Sports.
Roundtable Sports Network brings you NFL divisional debate coverage on a weekly basis from your favorite content creators across YouTube, featuring the AFC East Roundtable live Monday and Wednesday evenings, the AFC South Roundtable live Tuesdays at 7 p.m. EST, the NFC South Roundtable live Tuesdays at 7 p.m. EST, the NFC West Roundtable live Tuesdays at 9 p.m. EST, the AFC West Roundtable live Tuesdays at 9 p.m. EST, the NFC North Roundtable live Wednesdays at 6 p.m. EST, the AFC North Roundtable live Wednesdays at 6 p.m. EST, the NFC East Roundtable live Thursdays at 6 p.m. EST. Roundtable Sports, real coverage from real fans.
A lot of great stuff coming your way this year, including right here with the NFC East Roundtable. It was a great first week, fellas. I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. Like I said, on your way out, hit the subscribe button, and make sure to take advantage of that 125% sign-up bonus via the link in the description below from our friends over at BetUS. For Jay Tuck, Philly Mike, KB, and Rio, I'm your host, Zeba. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you on the next episode. Peace.